world, which is now only 2,500 light seconds away, or keep jumping toward the nebula. Water worlds up to, well, we've seen one water world. To the water world. Okay, then let's get going. I can be indecisive, so I like other people to make those sort of decisions. I'm happy with what anyone chooses. So yeah, definitely Milky. They're worth a fair chunk of money, aren't they? Shame to throw it away. I'm just always eager to get to their destination, like the kids in the back of the car. Are we there yet? I'm just over 5,000 light years away from Sol. I haven't been travelling too long. I started out the day before yesterday, so I'm only on my third day of travelling at the moment. So made quite a bit of headway in that amount of time. Most of it has been done on the stream. It'd be nice to have a little distance travelled readout, wouldn't it? So it tells you how far you've actually travelled since you previously docked. That's the sort of data an explorer would like to see. You can see at a glance how far any particular route has taken you. There we go, we're coming up on the star there. Which one was the water world? It was the first one, wasn't it? It's that one there. A water world next to a brown dwarf. Probably not a planet that would be inhabitable, I would imagine, with that type of sun. Possible, it may well be an ammonia world. Had a slightly different tint to it than a lot of the water worlds do, didn't it? No, it is a water world, but we'll have a look at the description in a minute and see what it has to say about the composition. So that's one water world. How much are they worth now? Worth about 20,000-30,000, are they? 40,000? I'm going to fly by it, regardless of how much it's worth. Look, shot right by. Let's come back round on it. Get a bit of a closer look at it. There we go. Lovely blue planet. Kind of interesting to see what the composition of that's going to be, though. Whether it's one that could be terraformed, maybe. It is indeed. The planet is a candidate for terraforming, which adds to its value quite significantly. 94% oxygen atmosphere, which I think is much more oxygen than we have in our atmosphere. Water rich, with an active water-based chemistry and carbon water-based life. So there's life on that planet as well. So it's got water, it's got life, and it's also a candidate for terraforming. There's some value in that planet for sure. Yeah, that's what I thought, Pseudo. We're a lot lower down on the amount of oxygen we got. 100% oxygen. You wouldn't want to light a flame there, would you? On 94% oxygen. Light a match and the whole planet goes up. Yeah, that's what I was surprised at, that the planet was a candidate for terraforming when it's orbiting a brown dwarf. You wouldn't have thought that would be likely, would you? Oh, I didn't notice the number of atmospheres. I see, Merton. That also makes sense, doesn't it? Ah, Sintrath, did you? Earth-likes are one of the hardest ones to find. I've only seen 2 of them, I believe. I've scanned quite a few planets. Still trying desperately to find an Earth-like planet with a ring system around it. I really want to see one of them. Lewis, I don't know about the pulsars. Maybe someone else in the channel there can let you know. "25 objects discovered." And nothing really there to look at. Let's keep going. Yep, Merton, that's one thing I really want to see. Even better if it's close to a star or inside a nebula. Hello there, Mara. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping back again. Nothing scanned here, but we are getting closer to that nebula. Keep going a little bit more, a little bit longer. Yeah, I think you're right there, Merton, and that's probably how some people actually go about finding them, because the galaxy map actually tells you the type of star before you jump into the system, doesn't it? So yeah, choosing a G-type star before you actually jump would probably be a worthwhile thing to do. This jump looks like it's being one of the longer ones again. The ones that always make you wonder whether you're going to get a disconnect or end up some very unusual place. "24 objects are discovered." Some more refueling then. Let's see what we got here. G, F and K stars can have Earth-likes. Close to the Cat's Paw Nebula. 2 Earth-likes, really. I'm actually heading towards the Cat's Paw Nebula now, as you'd probably know. So maybe I'll see some of your discoveries there. What have we got here? High metal content planet, another high metal content planet. What's this one? Probably a nice world with some type of atmosphere. So a little bit of value in them, but I'm going to keep jumping because I want to get to the Cat's Paw Nebula, which you can actually start to see there in front of us. Starting to resolve itself. That'll actually get close quite quickly now. Yes, Zarias, you can play. Sorry if I've mispronounced your name there, but yes, you can play with others in this game. You've got three modes for playing the game. You've got open play, where you see everyone else that's in the game. You've got solo play, where you're still connected into the server, so you see the persistent galaxy, but you actually play the game on your own. And then you have private group play, where you can join any number of private groups, and I don't think there's any limitation to the size of those groups, so you can just go and play with a group of friends, or you can join an established group. There's groups out there that have played for non-PvP only. There's PvP groups, there's trading groups, and a lot of them have literally hundreds of players, so you can play inside them with groups of people that have a similar interest to you. but there is no offline mode, as most people are probably aware of. A lot of metal content planets here. Look at that. Loads of them. 1, 2, 3. Let's go to the third ring out, because there's 3 orbiting each other there. Hold on, Merton, I'll make you a mod if you let me know how to do that. It's just \mod, isn't it? Is that the command? I'm going to try it anyway. Apologies if it's not. No, is it slash the other way? Does anyone know the command? Otherwise I'm going to have to look it up. There we go, mod. Thanks, Merton. As long as you don't mind, that is. I've perhaps been a bit presumptuous in just promoting you there without actually asking you. But if you don't mind doing that for me, I really appreciate that. So where were we? Was it second ring or third ring? Third ring. Nope, actually it would be the just after the first ring. Thanks, Merton. That looks like it. That there should be 3 planets. Yeah, Astro, that's exactly what I say. Who wouldn't want to be one? So this is a little bit unusual here. Going to be quite an interesting discovery, because what I've got here, yeah, sorry if I've just thrown you in there again. I know you said it's alright, but I probably assumed you knew what you were doing. Not to say you don't know what you're doing, but you know what I'm saying. Digging myself deeper in it now, aren't I? Right, we've got 3 planets orbiting each other here, which is somewhat of an unusual configuration. It's not something I come across that often, and all of them have got an atmosphere, and I think all of them are going to be high metal content planets. So this is a particularly valuable grouping here. Oh, right. Yeah, I'm playing right now with a Xbox control pad. I have played with a keyboard and mouse as well. The controller works fine. The Xbox controller actually works really well, but you are limited somewhat in the amount of buttons you need, because the game does have a hell of a lot of control options, and I'll actually show you very quickly there, Zorias. You've got all these, don't be put off by it. You've got all these control options to map here, literally dozens of them. So you're going to need to use a keyboard as well. Put the most common used things to your gamepad, and the rest is on a keyboard. I'd use the flight stick as well when I'm not streaming. I've got a HOTAS and I use that, which works really well with the game. Just like Lewis pointed out, the Cytec X52 is a great stick. I have the X55, which is nice as well. A lot of buttons on it. So all pretty much all inputs methods work. It's really down to personal preference. I've used them all. And have a look at that planet there as we go past it. It's nice, isn't it? Just seeing the planet using her way around. Yeah, rooted in, voice attack. is really good. I think it's $10, isn't it? It just uses voice activation for the button presses, and it's got really good voice recognition once you train it. Yeah, Astro keyboard and mouse works fine as well. Look at all these planets here, all metal content planets, so nice combination of them. Yeah, it does look like Tatooine a bit. Yeah, rooted in. I think that's one of the things that a lot of new players have a problem with. They jump into the game and start trying to do a bit of yaw on the ship and find out it doesn't respond too well. Of course that's by design, and when you know how to handle the ship it actually works perfectly fine, but it's quite understandable why some people wonder what the heck is going on. So look at all these high metal contents here. Do I go and have a look at the others, or do I head on toward the Nebula? Don't often see systems that have quite that amount of planets in, so this is quite a valuable system. It's rare that you come across somewhere where you can add. That's alright, glad to hear it. I hope you like it. I think you will, quite sure, in fact. Yeah, quite unusual to jump into a system like this where you actually have so many planets that are as valuable as this. See you, Majogle. Sorry you couldn't post a link. I'll see if I can sort that out for next time. Try and make that a little bit easier to work. Yeah, I'll probably try and do that as well, Merton. Sort that out. A bit new to all this streaming. It's only my second day at it, so there's a few things I still need to get set up and figure out. Let me have a look at the chat commands then, Merton. Just going to park the ship here. Might be a moment, guys. Let's see what we got here. What do we want to reload the channel? We want to allow someone to post a link. I can clear the channel. I don't think we want to do that. I just had a quick look there, Merton. I can't see any reload command. I see a clear command. moving on. I'll try and get that all sorted out for the next stream. Obviously ticked some box somewhere and disabled linking without thinking how I can give people the ability to post a link when they want to. Right, I'm getting back to my course now. Yeah, I've got to learn them as well, Merton. Let's see if I can get the channel properly configured for the next stream. Yeah, hi True Dog, nice to see you. I've got actually a bunch of YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. There's a link in the description below. Once I come out of hyperspace, I'll see if I can give you a link to my exploration guide. No, I haven't got any bots set up, Merton. Like I say, I'll do that for the next stream. Yeah, could try posting the link without the www bit and the htt bit in there, and perhaps without the .com. Perhaps the link would then post and people can copy and paste it if they want. Yeah, Merton, I think I might have done that. I might have set the no links tick earlier on, figuring the channel. We'll have to get that fixed for next time, like I say. And I'll see about getting a chatbot put in here. Let me quickly just get you that link, True Dog. That's if I can even post a link. Maybe I can't. Right, let's see if that goes through. Yep. There we go. True Dog, that's a good place to start for exploration. It covers most of the basics. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Alright, Merton. You're welcome, True Dog. What have we got here? Now, there seem to be a whole load of metal content planets out this way, so heading toward the cat poor Nebula, you're certainly going to make a lot of money if you're willing to stop off and do all the detailed surface scanning, which right now I'm not going to do. We've done enough of detailed surface scan for the moment. I want to try and get as close to this nebula as I can. Well, hi Roundwood, some areas are quite demanding on terms of system specs.
Fuel scooping.
But I've actually played this on a laptop as well, and it works quite well. Although that is a laptop with a built-in graphics card, with its own, you know, additional graphics card. I'm running now on a GTX 780, but there's a lot of graphics settings. You can set it down quite a bit, and I've even played it on a dual-core CPU, even though it says it doesn't support a dual-core CPU. That was a dual-core CPU with a GTX 480 graphics card. That was an old computer, spare computer, and it ran quite well on that. Yeah, if you want to run it on an Oculus Rift, that's a different story altogether. You're going to need quite a beefy PC to do that. I've got a GTX 780 here, and I know that's not exactly the best of best cards anymore, but it's still pretty high up the list, and that even struggles with the Oculus Rift in some places, although mostly I get quite good results with it. But it's fairly well optimised all round, so you shouldn't have too much trouble playing it on any system from the past few years. Yep, that's very similar spec laptop to I've got, Lewis. I think mine is pretty much the same CPU, but with a GeForce 730M, and I get roughly the same frame rates you get. Ah, 2K screens for the Rift. Merton, that would be great. Sorry if you can hear the racket in the background there. My kids are making a little bit of a ruckus. Fuel scooping complete. Fuel scoop disengaged. 2K screens. What sort of graphics card are you going to need to run that though? That's what I'd like to know. Ah, how close is this? It's 250 light seconds away from the system. As you might have seen earlier in the stream, one of the things I was really wanting to see is a ring system that's close to the sun, but that's not going to be this one. A little bit too far away. Hi Firestar, nice to see you too. Thanks for stopping by. FX 8350. I'm not that up on AMD CPUs, but I did recently get an AMD CPU for my wife's PC, and it may well have been the same CPU as you're mentioning there. Is that the one with 6 cores, Roundwood? So if that's a 6-core one, I think you'll be totally fine, because that's the one I've got on my wife's PC, and it runs the game without any problem. Although she's using a GTX 480 on that computer. So we're getting there, still heading towards the Cat Nebula there, which you can see starting to slowly get a little bit closer. Not a whole lot of jumps there till we're going to be right in the middle of it now. And then we should have a few interesting sights to see. Yeah, I suspect the Thargoids are going to be deadly. Not only would they likely be very hostile, they're probably going to have far superior technology to all the humans. Going to be interesting to see how they turn up. The way I'm hoping they turn up is that they're going to get uncovered by an explorer out there, and the explorer is going to basically make contact with the civilization again, the Thargoids, which will cause them to come invade us, or something like that, rather than them just turn up out of the blue. Something like that would be quite nice, a player triggered event or something like that. 8 cores. Yeah, I know the one you mean. 6300. I'll have to have a look. I can't quite remember what CPU it was I got, even though I only got it 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like I say, I've run it on a dual core CPU, a very old one. You know, the old the Intel duo core ones. I ran it on one of them, and it did have a little bit of problems, but most times it did manage it. Although the game doesn't even support that CPU, so I suspect you'd probably be alright. Yeah, I think you're right, Merton. Isn't there a whole section of space that's pretty much cordoned off over there? Not through permits, but through the fact that it's impossible to jump the gap between the systems there. Ah, nice to hear, Firestar. Asp is indeed a great ship. Handles quite a lot different to the Type 6 as well, doesn't it? Another water world there, look at that. We'll have a quick look at that. Well, you never know. Synthrap might well come across a system discovered by you before too long. Yeah, Mara, there's a lot of permit systems all over the place. Going to be some interesting things for sure before too much longer, I hope. Where were we? Second ring. There it is. That should be a water world. I'm going to quickly scan that before resuming the jumps. Yeah, Elite works pretty well on most cards, it seems, which is good news. Yeah, the Asp seems to handle a lot more like a Cobra than a large, huge Laken. Yeah, it's a fairly expensive game, isn't it? All in. Although, that said, it's a game you'll likely be playing for years, so in that terms, it does represent quite good value. Mashuna, I'm not quite sure how I'll go about that, depending on what you guys think, really. I did try and upload last night's stream to YouTube, but it actually failed. I will try and get it to do that again later. What I am going to definitely do, I'm going to edit all this footage together into a couple of episodes, which will form another episode in my Exploring Elite Dangerous series, which is, well, now the next episode will be episode 22, which I'll release next week. I'll use most of the footage that I've made in the last couple of days from the streams, and I'll probably record a new commentary for it. So those will go out probably as episodes 22 and episode 23, and most of you who have watched the stream will probably have seen a lot of that footage, but there will be a new commentary, and it will also be footage for people who haven't seen the stream. But as for the stream itself, I can make that available, no reason not to. Although obviously the people who watch it won't be able to see the chat channel, because the chat channel is not overlaid at the moment onto the video, and that's the main thing that's put me off doing it. Obviously I'll be talking to all you guys and girls, and people won't be able to see what it is you're actually saying. So if you don't think that's an issue, then I'll put it onto YouTube for sure. If you do think it's an issue, then I'll get the chat overlaid for the next stream, and I'll release these videos on YouTube after that. What do you think? Yeah, let's have a look at that again, Merton. There was a lot of moons around that gas giant for sure. There's a load of them, isn't there? Shame they're all icy ones. I like it when you see moons with rings. I do want to do another Best of Exploring sim draft, that's for sure. It's finding the footage to do it with though. The last one had about 3 nebulas worth of footage, and I was actually hoping to do that as a regular series a little bit more often. But getting to all the nebulas actually takes quite a bit of time, so I think with the past 2 or 3 streams I will have had enough footage to do another Best of Exploring, so there'll definitely be one of them coming before too much longer. Okay, Rashuna, I'll make them available on YouTube then, as long as Twitch does the upload correctly. For some reason it failed last night in its attempt, but I'll keep doing it until it goes through. Okay, Lewis, that's another vote for it, so I'll definitely do it. I'll also make sure in future to get the chat overlaid onto the video, which will make it a little bit more interesting for people who might want to see the chat as well. Not sure how many jumps left now to the Cat Nebula. I reckon it's got to be definitely under 10 now. We should start seeing it increase in size quite dramatically before too much longer. What skin did you get for the Asp Firestar? And who knows, Redwood, regarding the price of the game, now the game's available on Steam, check out the next Steam sale. Maybe the game will be there at a reduced price. Steam are good for their sales, as long as the publishers and developers want in on the sale. A lot of gas giants here, and another potentially metal content planet or 3 over the other side of the system. How many jumps we got remaining? 6 jumps to the Cat Nebula, and I've just skipped into the chat window. I've been playing a year now. I started playing right at the start of Premium Beta, which was either last April or last March, I can't remember which, and I've barely had a break since. The only break I've actually had was recently, which was about 1 or 2 weeks where I weren't playing that actively, only enough to make a couple of videos because I do enjoy doing that. But other than that, it's been pretty much constant playing for a year, so definitely it was worth the money, and I paid I think £100 for Premium Beta, so that was by no means cheap, but that did include all future expansions, so it probably will pay off in the long term. Yeah, Herschel 36 was a great system to be in. Yeah, Lewis, I probably should have gone over and checked that planet, but it was probably a fair way to travel, and I'm getting itchy to get to the Nebula now because it's not far away. Although I'll stop and look at these, look at all them. This one may possibly be an Earth-like, but doesn't look like there's much on there. Oh, and over here, crikey, there's a lot of valuable planets over in this particular region of space. I'm going to show you lot where I am. If you want to do exploring, you want to do it for money, then I think you want to come to this region of space. That's right here, near just before you get to the Cat's Paw Nebula. I'll show you where I am in relation to Earth, so you can get an idea of where to come. So if you happen to be out this way, it's nearly 5,500 light years from Earth, but if you happen to be out here, the system in white there is where you want to start coming toward, because there's a lot of very valuable system around here. I don't mind sharing that information, because I'm certainly not going to be scanning all of these systems. I'll leave that up for a moment so you can write the names down. That's right, Lewis, no one has been here, so if I'm first back to sell this information, I'll get a nice 50% bonus. But whether or not I'll be the first one back with the data is anyone's guess, because I don't plan on heading back for a number of weeks yet. Yeah, fire start, it's definitely what I want to do, get to the other side of the core there. So let's start. We're going to skip the first one because I'm not worried about that, but these are just too good to turn up, aren't they? And then I'll be over this side as well. Look at them. So the only thing that would have been better is if the moons were also planets like that. So we want to go to the second planet out from the sun. The second planet from the sun is right there, and I think it's going to be, this system as a whole is going to be of significant value, isn't it? I'm not going to go too fast because I don't want to shoot by it, and you can see the little orbit ring it's got around it. That's its moon, which I think was an icy moon. Here we go. High metal content, candidate for terraforming. What do you think? High metal content planet. Let's get a little bit closer. Yep, I know that feeling very well, Sintrath. Trying to explore with a cracked canopy. Very worrying when you know you've got a cargo load of scan data. One rock from the sun, two rocks from the sun. Sounds, it does, doesn't it? No, congratulations on that, on the baby soon to be here. Wonderful things, wonderful thing, definitely. Yeah, it'd be nice to get away from it as well and do some exploring, but I'm sure you're gonna love spending time with your kid. Best thing in the world. What are we looking at? I've got myself distracted. I was going to do something. No, well, we got that planet. Let's go have a look at the third one, because that is also a planet of good value. So that will be the next ring out. Obviously not that one, because that is the moon. Oh, that's what I was gonna check to see if it's suitable for terraforming. Then yeah, you know, Frontier have mentioned a few times, David Braben specifically, that he doesn't really want to put planetary landings in until they can put suitable content down, interested enough content. But you know, why not give us atmospheric entry prior to planetary landing, where we can just get into the atmosphere and fly over the planets? You know, even if it's 30, even if the lowest we can get is 30,000 foot from the surface, that in itself would be absolutely brilliant. There's how many ships are there now in the game? Quite a few. The ship variety is really good. You can pretty much do anything you want with the early ships, the cheap ships that you start off with. You've got exploring ships, combat ships, trading ships, and then you've got higher class ones of these ships. And I'll show you what the ship I've got actually looks like if you want to see that. This is an ASP. It's an exploration class ship that you can actually use for combat. It's got 5 weapon mounts on it as well, so it's a good little combat ship. And that's the ASP, one of my favourite ships so far. Where was we going? The third planet out, wasn't it? 3. 1, 2. Where's this third ring then? Oh, that was already there when I... That's the first, that's the second, that's the third ring. Let's go there. 17 ships, yeah, that sounds about right, Protedi. Ships of various styles and shapes. Quite nice. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Astro Pilot. There wasn't really a lot of content in the previous Elite games, was there? Excuse me. What I should have said there is there wasn't a whole lot of content on the planets in the previous Elite games, was there? But that still made them worthwhile to land on. So I'm not worried about, I wouldn't care if the planets are completely bare, as long as we could go through the atmosphere and land on them and fly around them. That's what I want to do. Yep, Firestar. I know what you mean. I've been sharing all those nerdy things with my kids too. Gotta be done. There we go, another high metal content planet. Where's the next one? Pretty amazing system. This one, coming across something like this is not something you do very often, but it seems to be a nice region of space, this. After early on in the stream going through that region of space where it was nothing but brown dwarves and that I couldn't scoop fuel from, and all those pink planets which were totally uninteresting, we come to a system like this bunch. Yeah, that's what David Braben mentions quite a lot of Protedi. I think he's keen on adding that sort of thing to the planets. Me personally, I'm not too worried about that. I just want planetary surfaces I can fly over. But the more they can add, the better. The longer it's going to keep it interesting. So I can definitely see what you're saying there. So we're looking for the 4th planet now. There we go. Altera is exactly how I want it to be. Netherfall. I'd love the variety of space engine with the planetary landings like on Altera. That would just be fantastic, wouldn't it? Whether the sheer number of planets in Elite can be rendered like Altera though is anyone's guess. Yeah, walking around ships is going to be great too, isn't it? Especially if you can go on a ship with a friend and walk around their ship with them. We've got these extra seats in our ship. The Asper's got another seat below this one on the underside of the cockpit. Having other people walking around your ship while you're flying them, that's going to be great. Look at the colours on this one. This is the one with the slight greenish yellow tinge to it. We'll have a look in a minute to see if any of these are suitable for terraforming. I'm sure some of them are going to be. I think the fifth one was worth looking at as well. Yeah, I think from what Frontier have said in the past, they do want it to be like that, like a No Man's Sky with the flora and fauna. So yeah, or even sneak into some of the cargo pods, and stow away on the ship. The fifth one here was a worth scanning as well, wasn't it? Looks like that may be a water world. 2 water worlds, in fact. If I can actually get round to them. Yeah, I also heard that as well, Lewis. There was some suggestions, I think it may even be from Frontier themselves, that said that the Anaconda would be able to have 5 sidewinders dock inside of it. Just imagine that. Now, just in case any of you are wondering, the reason I'm flying up and down here rather than directly to the planet on the next planet on the navigation list is because I want to go to the specific planet I'm seeing on the system map. Although in this particular case I just could have flown to the next nearest planet because I actually want to visit them all. So it probably would have been quicker to have done that. Just doing this out of habit because usually I don't go to every single planet, I just want to go to specific ones, and this is pretty much the only reliable way to get to a specific planet. Since that, it is quite a shame that all the nebulas look the same. The ones that are pretty much been handcrafted are the best ones, that's for sure. Go to Bernard's Loop, Orion's Nebula, and you're going to get probably the best bunch of nebulas that are in the game. Also take a look at NGC 7822. I think that may well have also been handcrafted because that is also a fantastic nebula. It's a bit unfortunate if all the others look very similar to each other, but hopefully as Frontier improve the procedural generation algorithms, the nebulas will start to look a little bit more varied. They have indeed come quite a long way since beta, or gamma should I say, when the nebulas are actually put in. Oh, the Crab nebula's handcrafted as well, right. I'll have to be sure to visit that one then. I know quite a few of them have been handcrafted and they definitely are the best ones. I think the California nebula may have been worked on by hand as well. Hopefully, Lewis, it'd be nice to see that. They have mentioned a few times they're going to keep adding some of the new planets as they're discovered and stars, so That would be nice if they did do that. Oh, I've just moved away slightly then. Disrupted the surface scan. Yeah, 3,000 light years. I thought that was a little bit short when you mentioned 300. Right, well, I'm going to do the next planet as well, and then I'm going to leave the other ones because they're 35,000 light seconds away, and I think I'm getting a little bit toward the end of the stream of what I'm going to be able to do today, so the Fine Ring Nebula. Have a quick look at that now. Is that what it's actually called? Oh, yep, that's what it's actually called. Shame it's in the opposite direction to where I'm heading. Oh, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Totally different to what we've seen before. Of course, you can't get right inside of it. Can you get right inside of it? You can get right inside of it. That's a destination for later then. I'll definitely be going there. Thanks for that one, Sintreth. Can't wait to see all that, Merton. So the last one is out there, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's the 6th line. It's another water world. Totally does, Lewis. And yeah, I think it is a star inside there, Protedi, so you should be able to get right inside that nebula. The Fine Ring Nebula. How far away was it? So awestruck by it that I didn't check the distance. Shame it's in the opposite direction to where I'm heading. Yeah, 4,500 light years. It's possibly that's quite close to Earth though, isn't it? What region of space is it? No, it's sort of the opposite direction to Sol, isn't it? But yeah, I'll definitely be heading there. Looks awesome. Are we going to start scanning? Come on. Start scanning this planet. Yeah, I think you could get quite a lot of good screenshots from that nebula. Yep, I've been to the Orion Nebula. You might be able to... That's really good. Unless you were talking to someone else there, Merton. Another nice water world. Look at that. I love the really deep blue planets. They're just great looking, aren't they? Just come around on that and get a slightly better look. Try and get an external view of that as well. I always seem to get my ship in from the shadow side, don't I? There we go, an upside down asp against a water world. And this doesn't actually look too bad upside down, does it? These are the sort of little clips I'd probably use to do another Best of Exploring Elite video, I think. Yeah, I've been to the Orion Nebula, Merton. Really nice area there, especially around EZ Orionis, which is a huge star, and so many stars there, all so close to each other. Really nice place. 5 jumps. I'm going to do those 5 jumps, and I think we'll come to the end of the stream then for tonight, and I'll have a better look around the nebula on the next stream. I hope that's okay. Yeah, the clouds need a little bit of work yet still, Sinstreth. The crazy nerdy uncle. Those are the best type, aren't they? .35 objects. Well, I'm not stopping off no matter what this time. I would have a look just so we know what's here, but I'm not stopping because I want to get to the nebula, and it's only a few jumps now. And you can see the nebula actually it's starting to really take some shape there. After this jump I'll travel toward it just a little bit before doing the jump after that, so we can get a good idea of what it actually looks like. Let's see, 3 jumps left, is there? We'll wait one more jump before we'll have a look at the nebula then. I'm going to try and get a little bit closer. It did, didn't it, Merton? I do like getting close up to the gas giants. Actually, oddly enough, the resolution on the Cat's Nebula there looks fairly low. I've seen that a few times around the galaxy. Some of the nebulas don't seem to be quite finished. Ah, binary star system. The ones you have to be careful of, lest the game drop you out of warp right between the two of them. Look at that. I love seeing that. I'll take the chance of flying between the two just about here. I think that's not much of a risk. And we're past. Right, let's fly a little bit toward the Cat's Nebula there so you can all see it resolve itself into a bit more colour. There you go. So like I say, for some reason, I don't know how well you can see that on the stream video, but the resolution of that nebula looks extremely low. Very, very low. Strangely low, actually. A couple more jumps and we'd be right amongst it, and I'm wondering if it's going to look that low in resolution when we're there. depends if they've got a different level of detail model for when we're in there. Yeah, once you've got the Advanced Discovery Scanner Firestar, you're good to go. Lots to see out here. Yeah, I bet you panicked. Did you make it out alive? Sounds good, Pro Teddy. I did a trip like that in an Eagle. You can do a bit of exploring just about in anything, really. Is this the last jump? Looks like this is the last jump then. This is the last jump before we get into the nebula. So let's have a look at the nebula from outside. Hopefully the next jump should actually be inside the nebula. Question is, has the resolution picked up a little bit? It's picked up a little bit on the front side of the nebula. The side to the left, there's some banding in the middle though, which looks a little bit odd. But it's starting to look a lot better now, that's for sure. Some nice reflections of the nebula there. Nebula there in the canopy, isn't there? So this is it. This is it, everyone. We should be inside the nebula on the next jump. Yeah, well, glad you got out. What is it going to look like in here? And are we in the richly coloured part of the nebula when we get there? Assuming I'm actually inside it, that is. I'm pretty sure I've planned the last jump for inside the nebula. I will double check that in a second. Thanks, John 5. Nice to see you here. Really enjoyed making the videos, so that really helps too. Great to see it all growing like it is. Only my second day of streaming as well, but really liking doing it. Yeah, Lewis, as far as I know, they created the nebulas, at least the nebulas that are near to Earth, they created them as accurately as possible. Bernard's Loop especially so. And look at these lovely colours. That's just brilliant. That's what I wanted to see. Let's pan around a bit. That's looking nice, isn't it? Not quite right inside the nebula there, as in not into the heart of it, but you can see how the galactic core there actually passes behind the nebula. Where's my ship gone? There we are. And there we are. We have arrived at the Cat's Paw Nebula at last. What a bad journey was it? By any means. Let's go around the other side of my ship there. Seems to be some light below the ship, so just quickly rotate the ship round the other way. Have a look there. Let's have another look. Lovely looking place. Yeah, look. Pretty nice, eh? can't wait for the day we get some stations and some combat going on inside these nebulas. Talking about that, one of the nebulas you can actually do some combat in is the Pleiades Nebula. It's I think that's the closest nebula to Earth, and it's the only place where NPCs still actually spawn. So if you want to do a bit of combat in a nebula, head to the Pleiades. So for now, I think that will do it. I hope that's not cutting it too short for you. I know we've only just arrived here and you might want to look around, but I really need to try and cut the stream here. Otherwise I'm going to have no voice left for any more streams. Yeah, this nebula really is reflecting the light well, that's for sure. Some of them are quite dim when you get inside of them, disappointingly so. It's always nice when you see ones that look like this. Perhaps I can do one more jump and get us inside the nebula, a little bit further in. Where are we? We are actually right in the heart of the nebula then. Yeah, we're in the brightest section of it, I think. Look in there. Might be if we could actually get to a star here where that ring is. Unfortunately the star's down there. That may be the only place that would be potentially brighter than where we're at now. Everywhere else looks probably as though it's going to be dimmer, so we may have got one of the best vantage points there. Let's see what planets we got in the systems. Thanks for that, Lewis. Okay, great to hear that. So you're all alright with me putting a video out on YouTube to let you know when I'm streaming? No one's got a problem with that? If not, I'll keep doing it for the moment. No, we've only got stars here as well, so no planets to really have a look at. So that's it then. On the next stream, the next video out here, I'll have another look around the cat's paw, and I'll go and have a look, if we can, at the next nebula along, which is NGC 6357, and that looks like quite a bit of a larger nebula, and there's actually tons of stars out here, so I think we're going to get a whole load of vantage points out here. Look at all the stars out here, and this will be the first time I've actually been able to get right inside a nebula of this particular colour. And how far is that? 2,500 light years. We may be able to do that in the next stream, but we'll certainly have another look around the Cat's Paw Nebula. Okay, great, Synthreath and ProTeddy, thank you. Yeah, at the moment I don't have a specific schedule for the streaming. Hopefully I can get one worked out later on. It just depends on how things go with the streaming. So it seems to be going pretty well at the moment, so that's good for sure. And as always, really appreciate you all stopping by and watching, and glad you're enjoying it. So I think that is it. Thank you, and I'll see you all soon.